You ever feel like you're just screaming into the void online? You're pushing out content, you're running ads, but for some reason, you're getting less and less back? Yeah, you are not alone. The old rulebook for digital marketing, it's broken. But today, we're going to look at a new model, a more powerful and frankly more sustainable one. It all starts by understanding the core problem, which is summed up perfectly right here.
And this quote, man, this is the diagnosis. This is the heart of the problem in our digital world. For years, we've all been told, be louder, be more visible. But all that's done is create this battlefield where everyone is screaming and absolutely no one is listening.
So for our first section, let's just perform an autopsy, shall we? The old way, what we all called the attention economy, is officially over. And that feeling you have, like you're stuck on a content hamster wheel that just keeps spinning faster, it's because you are.
This image just captures the feeling perfectly, doesn't it? The internet has literally become a chaotic, crowded party. You know, the first person to raise their voice got heard for sure. But now everyone is screaming, and it just adds to this deafening, overwhelming noise. It has become a game that you just cannot win by playing the old way.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the simple, brutal math behind it all. Human attention, it's a finite resource, right? There are only 24 hours in a day. But digital content, that's infinite, an endless stream. And in any economic system, when an infinite supply meets a finite demand, the value of that thing, in this case our attention, it collapses. It goes to zero.
And you know, to keep us all playing this losing game, we were fed this digital drug. Vanity metrics, clicks, likes, views. I mean, they look great on a dashboard, don't they? They give you that quick little hit of satisfaction, but they are the empty calories of data. They don't build a strong, healthy, sustainable business.
Okay, so if screaming is a losing strategy, what's the alternative? Well, we have to change the game entirely. And this brings us to our second big idea, moving from the attention economy to what we're going to call the resonance economy. This isn't about being louder, it's about being deeply understood by the right people.
The key concept here is resonance, and it's actually borrowed from physics, which is kind of cool. Imagine a violin plays a C note near a piano. Well, the C string inside that piano will start vibrating all on its own, not because it was hit or forced, but because it shares the same natural frequency. See, resonance isn't about forcing your message on people. It's about finding those who are already tuned to your frequency.
And this just brilliantly shows the difference. Attention is a click. It happens during an interaction, and then it's gone. It's fleeting. But resonance, that's what happens after the interaction is over. It's a change in how someone thinks. It's what they remember about you 6 months from now. One builds transactions, the other builds relationships.
Now, this requires a fundamental shift in mindset. You have to stop being a hunter, constantly chasing the next click, the next sale. It's exhausting. Instead, you have to become a gardener, patiently, carefully cultivating the right environment, knowing that if you do that work, the right people will be drawn to you naturally.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually build resonance? How do you do it? Thankfully, there's a simple but really powerful framework for it. It's called the law of the bridge and layers.
That's it. Seriously, that is the whole law. You need a bridge to get people from a state of, I don't care, to a state of, I'm interested. And then you need layers to prove to them that making that journey was absolutely worth it. So let's break that down, starting with the first part, building your bridge. The single most important rule here is this: clarity always comes before depth. Always. Before you can prove how amazing your work is, you first have to give people a crystal clear and compelling reason to even cross that bridge in the first place. Look, the human brain is a ruthless filtering machine. When it sees something new, it asks one simple question: is this for me? And you have about 5 seconds to answer. That's it. If your answer is confusing or complicated or all about you, you've already lost. So, the cornerstone of your bridge is something called the golden sentence. It's one single sentence, that's it, that cuts through all the noise. And it's not about what you do, it's about what you will do for your audience. It's your promise, boiled down to its absolute powerful essence.
A really powerful golden sentence isn't just some catchy tagline. It has 3 core traits. First, it focuses on the result you deliver, not your internal process. Second, it uses your audience's language, words they actually use, not your own industry jargon. And finally, it has to be unique and defensible, something that only you can authentically claim. This is what creates that sharp point that breaks through the wall of indifference.
Okay, so you did it. You've built a clear, compelling bridge with your golden sentence. Someone is intrigued. They've decided to cross. Now what? Well, now we get to the second part of the law. You have to prove your promise is real. And this is where you build your layers.
Because in our super skeptical age, a promise just isn't enough. The moment you make a great promise, the very first question that pops into your audience's mind is, oh yeah, prove it. The layers, they are your proof. They're the substance and depth that make your bridge trustworthy.
And you build this trust through 4 essential layers. First, your origin story, which answers, why do you even exist? Second, your values, which show how do you operate. Third, your unique process, which explains what makes you different. And finally, your vision, which inspires people with what's next. Together, these build a case that is just impossible to ignore.
So what happens when you get this right? When it all clicks? Well, you get true resonance. And it isn't just about the bridge or the layers by themselves. It's about what happens when they work together. It's that aha moment when a person realizes that your compelling promise is actually backed up by undeniable substance.
And this creates a powerful, self-sustaining flywheel. A person crosses your bridge, they explore your layers, and their experience confirms your promise is real. They become convinced. Now here's the magic. They don't just become a customer. They become living proof, an amplifier who shares your story and attracts new people to your bridge, starting that loop all over again.
Now, this slide just nails it. It summarizes the whole system by showing the 2 classic ways this can all go wrong. On one side, you have the hype bubble. That's a strong bridge but weak, flimsy layers. You attract a ton of people with a great promise, but they feel deceived and they leave. The bubble bursts. On the other side, you're the hidden genius. You have an amazing product, deep layers, but a weak, confusing bridge. No one ever crosses it to discover the treasure inside. You see, sustainable success only happens when the 2 work together.
So I'll leave you with this final question. As you think about your work, your company, your personal brand, whatever it is, ask yourself this: what am I building? Am I just contributing to the noise, building something that screams for attention for a day? Or am I carefully, patiently building something with a clear bridge and deep layers, something that is designed to resonate for a decade? The choice really is yours.